Meet Jessie Pineault, once an elite IFBB Pro bodybuilder whose body sculpted was a testament to discipline and drive. Today, she's redefined strength by nurturing her body, mind, and spirit as a holistic health and empowerment coach. Jessie now guides women to embody their highest selves, embracing healing and alignment. This is the story of a woman who flipped the script on performance, trading perfection for presence, and found power in compassion. You do not want to miss this conversation where strength meets self. Hey guys, I couldn't be more excited than in this moment because we will have a conversation with Jessie Pineault. Jessie, my friend, welcome to the show. And thank you for having us in Tulum.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I feel truly honored to be here. I'm so excited to share with all of you all the wisdom that's naturally going to flow through today. And thank you for visiting Tulum and being my neighbor.
Yeah, so much fun. Let's just go right to the point. Let's go to the good stuff right away. You have such an interesting life with so many different pieces. And the reason we're here today is because you're such an inspiration. And it comes such from a good place that I had the need to share this with everybody that I know and even the one that I don't know yet. So let's start from the beginning. So for as far as I know, and let's start with a pretty exciting and pretty unusual, you were an IBFF competitor. IBFF, yes.
IFBB.
IFBB. Oh no, I'm sorry. IFBB competitor. What does it mean?
International. Oh my God.
You were competing in bodybuilding physique bikini.
Yes, exactly. And it's like the international federation that recognizes essentially this sport as a professional sport.
Right. So you were training hard, eating, sleeping for your sports, and your body was very impressive.
You
won many prizes and title.
Yes. Essentially, I remember going for it. And when we were partying in Las Vegas back then,
way before kids.
I remember my intention was going for the pro card. I was really manifesting winning that IFBB Pro card. I wanted that title. Because at that time I was a personal trainer, and I just figured if you have that title on top of that, just, your credibility, you're walking the talk, Yeah, so I went for it and I won it in June 2018. So that was it. And I always go back to my first biggest accomplishment, like the thing when we refer back to what are you most proud of in your life, my first is always winning that pro card. That was a big accomplishment. And then my second is my natural birth in Tulum, Mexico.
Right. And and I just love this, what? They're both very physical. And in between, and we're going to come back to that, but you also kind of recreated your career and you really redesigned what you do for a living now. And you have a son. So now you're being mommying full-time.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes, you saw me.
And loving every second of it.
Yes.
And I really want to talk about this transition because there's so much that is said about motherhood, right? The identity, the things that are expected, what you need to do, what you don't need to do. And for a lot of us, we feel sometimes lost. We feel that you're being a competitor, you have your card, you were on stage. The world judging you for your body.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot on the mind. That's a lot in the habits. This does not happen overnight. That's months and years of training for you to get there. And that all goes away when you're pregnant. Everything, now your body has a different purpose. Can you talk a little bit about how, what go in your head when this happened? Going from, that very strong woman to that very strong mother.
I've also been on such a healing journey that I would say back then I was always a very open-minded and very great spirit kind of girl, very optimistic and very bright soul in general. But I was not so conscious, so intentional, nothing like I am now, and none of the awareness that I have now. And a big shift that happened for me, which actually was before becoming a mother, and which was after my yoga teacher training. So I won my pro card in 2018, did my yoga teacher training in 2020, then COVID hit. And so much shift after that. And when I started meditating, when I started journaling, when I started mindfulness practices, essentially, and just creating true love for myself. And, that sport is very, you said it, we're on stage in bikini, like we're mostly naked and high heels. So it's very performance based. The way we walk, the way we pose, everything is, I don't want to say fake, but it's performed. So it's not natural.
Scripted.
It's scripted, and it's trained and practiced and true dedication. And, but it's fake tan, fake hair, fake lash, fake nails. You have everything fake essentially to be on that stage, and then fake implants, not that every competitor needs it, but I remember when I was competing in the earlier levels, I remember thinking, if there's two girls to win that pro card and one doesn't have breast, because you barely have breast tissues at the end because you're so lean and it's very low body fat percentage, and our breasts are mainly, and it drops our hormones, like our hormones shift, everything changes. So really there's not much of this like natural feminine expression.
But it's not possible because it's all fat tissue.
Exactly. And so then I got implants, back then, and that sport influenced my decision to even get implants. So since 2020, I really have this whole like awareness, not that I consider this sport being bad, but, and I'm glad I did this journey, but I now see also that it's not necessarily like for optimal health. And also I've been in a massive journey of reconciling my feminine, my divine feminine expression, my divine feminine embodiment. So really being a woman. And back then I thought I was very feminine, but not really. Actually, it was all kind of performed. It was all fake things that were making me feminine.
Right.
Which I just actually needed to reconnect with my true feminine essence. And I've been on that journey. And Tulum has really helped with that because it's a very feminine place, but so you said, the identity shift about the sport, like being on stage, being judged, and then being a mother. And because I went in this change of awareness, around 2020, after I became a bit more mindful and reflective and just increased my self-love and the true love for my body. And then from that moment on, I made a decision that instead, because you're supposed to redo your implants every 10 years, instead of redoing them, I will remove them.
Okay.
So that's a decision
that you took.
I took that decision in 2020. And now it's just going to take like time, money, like, making it smart because it's a whole other surgery. It's a whole other process. And I just figured I would have to go through that anyways in 2027. So now I'm studying now which surgeons, how it's going to go. And then now when women come to me to get their implants, I do my best to talk them out of it and tell them, like, learn to love yourself as you are. You're divinely perfect.
Right.
God created you how you are, and you're perfect. You're beautiful. And just that self-love. And back then I thought, I honestly got this as well, to be desired by the masculine, right? To be attractive to the masculine. So it was also for the man and for that, that desire to be recognized by the man and have this male attention. And I don't want none of that now.
I'm done.
I'm like,
No,
and
thank
also got me the wrong attention, got me the wrong man, got me there in the wrong relationship. This is not me. This is not a real me. This is not the authentic me. So it actually got, a different kind of man that actually, that the one that truly will want to marry me in my true body. So that's just an invitation.
And it's a very difficult topic because working with clients who had breast cancer or endemic cancer and had mastectomies, and they want to get their breast back. And it's a conversation that we have because it's very difficult and there's no judgment, right? And again, your experience is in the point that now it has mild impact on your health, and you're at the point that you're like, you know what? This is not what I want for myself. But it's very difficult because we always have to ask ourselves, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
That's true for the implants. That's true for the hair. That's true for the nails. It's like, it makes me feel good. Bless your heart.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
But why does it make you feel? Why do you feel this need? And I think it's important to always ask these questions. And I'm obsessed with the 5 whys. Why, why? And ask yourself why so many times that you're annoyed with yourself. But at the same time, it gets you to the final why, and it comes down to, because I don't like the way I look. I don't like whatever it is.
To the root.
To the root.
To the root.
And I have friends and have, that they say, you know what, I'm young, I want to do it, and I'll think about it in 10 years. And I'm like, go girl, do whatever you want. But it needs to be mindful. And
Exactly.
in your story, you were not.
No. And I mean, when I did it, it was just like, now I've grown into the woman that I am now. And again, my identity shifted, but I have so much more love for myself, true love, and compassion for that older version of me. And so, yes, I guess it's different intention, right? When you go, like you said, the woman who had breast cancer, or I know a mother that she was saying, this is not my body. And she got breast implant to feel more like herself.
Right.
So there's, again, different intentions, different cases. In my case, it was for the wrong reason. It was it was because I was feeling a not enoughness, essentially, in the first place. And now I've just came also to everything that, because everything comes at a cost. So yeah, I know that, for example, my life force energy could be a lot more. I could have much more energy on a daily basis because my body wouldn't be constantly trying to detox from these foreign bodies in my body. So I'm also...
sometimes have consequences.
Exactly. It's that, just being aware of the consequences of also having shellac, having, or now I'm growing my natural color hair and I don't want bleached anymore, So it's like I'm embracing more and more of the nature side, the more authentic, the more how I was designed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on that journey. I call it the healing journey, or the spiritual awakening and the healing journey, because I feel that healing is a return to love and a return to wholeness. So it's a return to yourself and to your true self, not just this ego, physical body, but your whole self.
And it comes, and I think you just said very simply and beautifully, it's that awareness. Why are we doing something, right? It's not about being better or not, right? Having a more natural aspect versus less, as long as it comes with that intention and what does it does to yourself. And everybody has a season. What works really well for you for a couple of years, months maybe, won't work or might have to change. And I think it's really important, and I want to salute you for that, is that you notice the things that were not working for you anymore, and then you realize, you're like, wow, I got these things done onto myself because I wanted to show the world that this was the best version of myself. And you're like, that is not true. So but you also forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's not about bashing, or it's not about trying to convince the world that this is the new you, because at the beginning you were convincing the world that was you, right? So the you keeps evolving.
Yes.
And in 10 years from now, you'll be like, you know what? Maybe I'm not bleaching my hair, but I'm going to do something else with them. Like, maybe I'm not using this shampoo. Like, it just evolves so much that we need to be flexible.
Absolutely.
And that is so important.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit what's going on with how you had your whole path in the evolution, in through this motherhood, is that look for identity. And do you feel that you lost some part of yourself, or they actually transform? Like, if you look back, is it just like, how do you describe it? Like, this is done and just closing the door, or it's more like a stepping stone, or it's something you learn from? I'm giving you all the A, B, C, and D. You can say all of the above. That's okay.
Well, what's interesting is that I feel that this part of my life, the competing part, the IFBB Pro card part, I manifested also because the partner I was with at that time, when we were in Vegas and when I was competing, I was telling him 2018 is for the pro card. 2019 is a year off to rebalance my body, give a break to my body from going, super strict, and then off season, on season, off season, prep, non-prep, and just in the extremes, And then, so I was like, 2019 is a year off to rebalance, and then 2020 is the baby year. So funny enough, it happened that way. It all worked out. But not as I planned it. But I still spoke it into existence, and it happened. So yeah, watch when you speak, because you're casting spells every time you speak. So watch your words.
Yeah, and careful what you're wishing for.
Yes,
and then it's happening and you're like, oh no, I mean, yes, ooh, I don't know.
Yes. So when you say, did I lose parts of myself? So I feel that I did the full pendulum swing. Without necessarily wanting it, but I feel like back then I was highly leading my life from masculine energy, I was dismissing my cycle, just performing, just essentially very masculine, very rigid, very pushing through, pushing, forcing.
Right.
I was not resting when I was bleeding. Like I was just acting like
you have no respect of your cycle.
like a machine.
Because that's in a way. Everything was in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. Things are slowing me down, like you're tired, just more caffeine or just like stimulant, all these pre-workouts and all these things that I was taking in my poor body. So then actually my pregnancy in 2020, so I got pregnant very quickly. I did my yoga teacher training in 2020, which was a big catalyst for my spiritual awakening. Then COVID hit, which the world slowed down for me. That was a big gift of the world. And I was in Australia, I came to Tulum, and just the world is slow and everything was slow. So I mean, more time for stillness, more time to listen, more time to drop in, more time to tune in, more time to get connected here in Tulum with nature, so grounded and then connected to spirit. We're in this little spiritual bubble. And then got pregnant very quickly, which I think was a surprise, but also was very divinely orchestrated because the pull was so strong. The connection was so strong. And once I was pregnant, then there was not much connection anymore. So it's like almost like that was the purpose.
Wait.
But yes, definitely it was very difficult for me. I had a beautiful pregnancy. I loved the like luscious breast full of milk and like I was milking already and I was like, this is so cool. I thought this was so miraculous and the belly. But I had a very healthy pregnancy. I was living in Tulum. I was eating mainly fruits. I remember I went to the States for 2 weeks and I thought, wow, having done my pregnancy in the States, I would have probably gained so much inflammation and so much weight because just in that 2 weeks I was eating so much like chicken nuggets and fries and
because it's there,
right? It was just so
and it's so
available.
delicious.
I was like, where are fries in Tulum? Where can you get fries? Sometimes I was craving things, but it was not available. I guess, or it's not just as in your face, So it's very healthy here. So I had a very healthy so I only had my little like basketball, and then. So I bounced back very quickly. So for me, the body change actually was not so like shocking. If anything, like 10 days after pregnancy, I was on the beach and with the baby, the newborn baby, and it's almost like I was wearing the same bikinis. And so there was not much, of course, the body does change. And, I remember looking at my yoni and being like, what is this? What happened? Like, but everything gets back into place. Like, it's so, I was just completely amazed. For me, everything was so miraculous about the whole process because I did a natural birth at home and just I couldn't feel anything. Of course, I felt much of the labor, but when I could hear the tissues of my body ripping apart and everything when he was coming out, but I could not feel anything. And I remember thinking in this moment, the human body is so majestic. I guess, wow, it's protecting me. Like it's releasing the chemicals that numbs me. Like how amazing is that? Right. Anyways, so I was in awe of this whole process actually. So, but the pendulum swing that I did was like I was highly in my masculine and then the pregnancy pendulum swing me too. I was leading solely from my feminine. And then it forced me as well to ask for help. It forced me to slow down. My body forced me to slow down.
I want you to say that again. It forced you to ask for help.
That was huge. Yes, my pregnancy definitely forced me to surrender and to ask for help, to ask for support.
It was so hard.
It was so hard because especially when you're like, I've been the warrioress woman my whole life. But the funny thing is I was really working as well. I had a coaching program at the time, early pregnancy. Actually, I didn't even know I was pregnant. And I launched it and it was Reconnect with Your Inner Goddess. And I was starting so it's funny because, you serve the medicine to the world that you actually need yourself, So I was really starting to work with this goddess energy. And I was like, what is this goddess energy? And it's this divine feminine energy. And it was like this feminine energy in me that wanted to slow down, that wanted more stillness, that wanted more support, that wanted to be held, that wanted a masculine to show up and to serve, that wanted to feel honored and that have this like masculine devotion to the feminine, So the pregnancy kind of forced me into more of this energy, which at first was uncomfortable, of course, because that's not what I knew.
Right, it's not what feels safe.
Yes, exactly.
It's the unknown and asking, it's a lot of vulnerability.
Yes.
And are you good at vulnerability?
I mean, in this case, it was practice, It was practice. I'm good at being vulnerable when when it comes to like opening my inner world, like let's say right now I can be highly vulnerable and share anything, like share my biggest struggles and share my biggest, what I'm most ashamed of. And I have no problem being vulnerable in that way. But yeah, I think being vulnerable, let's say from a space of asking friends, like, do you think you can cook me a lasagna for the week? Or like, I would really love a home cooked dish. And like right now it's a struggle, you know, the man is working and I'm breastfeeding constantly. So more like that, you know, or asking a friend, like, do you think I can do a yoga class and you can just like hold my baby while that kind of help, just that kind of support that I guess a part of you wish also, like I told my little sister, when you become a mom, I'll be there for you because now I know. And I think you need to offer. I think you need to, when you see a new mother, because she'll say no. And especially if it's a woman like us, you know, that's a do it all, that's a I'll figure it all, I can take it, I'm good. Because that's what we know. And I come from a single mom as well that taught me all my life, you know, you don't ask for anybody for anything. You pay for it. So she was like, that way you don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe, you know, and it's safer.
I understand. My parents were the same way.
So
They were not they were not divorced. So I had two household parents. But I heard my dad said so many times, and it was a mojo for me, don't take anything from anybody so you don't have to say thanks. Don't thank, because when you thank, you owe them more than a thank. You owe them a favor. You owe them something at a moment that you don't want. And I was thinking, right, so if it felt like if I give you a little bit, then now you expect me to give, right? Which in friendship, this is what it is. We all exchange, but it was perceived as somebody owing you, like owning you. Owning you. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Further from the truth. If you need help, and I learned that you didn't call me, I'll be pissed. And it should be like that.
Yes.
It should be like that.
And would you say also, Tanya, that the ones who struggle mostly to ask for help, which I was one of those, and it's still a practice, you know, but I've changed so much. So would you say that you tend to be an overgiver?
Then you go on the other way because you, exactly.
I was the overgiver my whole life.
Right.
So it's like I can't accept anything and I can't ask for anything, yet I'm going to help everybody and I'm going to pour out and be so extremely generous and help wherever I can. So there's a very unbalance here, which, I've worked a lot on that because then it creates that energetic match in relationships. I was getting the overtakers. So you get out of the relationship, you're like, I don't have much going on for myself other than great lessons, great teachings, because I've built the other or I invested so much in the other that you end up with nothing but wisdom, though, which is you're rich.
You're rich.
Wealth and wisdom. Because I say wisdom is experience and knowledge woven together
without the emotion attached to it.
Yeah. So
that's the stinky part. Like that's difficult.
Yeah. But and then the way I can tell now, you can tell the work you've done on yourself when you see in your friendships. You're like, oh, now I'm surrounded by givers as well. So now it's like win-win relationships. There's no more win-lose. So that way, and also I was reading that book that was saying like, keep giving generously, because sometimes I was like, maybe I give too much. But as long as it's given from the heart, as long as it's not given from a place of, I'll do that, so I'll get that in return, it's really like, and also women to give from overflow. If you're depleted, undernourished, choose yourself. Yeah.
And also, I think I can talk from experience, but also because I see it a lot, we give because we have that fear that if we don't give, we're not going to be loved. So that is also something that is very depleting, right? So you have the intention, as you mentioned, maybe you give because, you want to get something in return, but also you give because you're scared that this person will leave or this person's not going to show up when you need them. So you and then you do the opposite. Then you become I call it the energy taker, because you are the one who you hope you will get the thanks back. What my parents was telling, like, don't do that. This is exactly what you become. Because you give and you're like, okay, when I need something, they're going to be there for me. They're going to love me. I create who I am because of the way I give. And that is also not working. And a lot of mothers or women
absolutely
are like that, because we give so much to our partner. We give to work. We give to our families, our aging parents. We give to our kids, and they're little and they're takers because this is what they do, and that's normal. That is normal. But it becomes very challenging. So how do we balance that career and the grit. And you're an overachiever.
Yes.
You created the body, and this is hard. Like, I don't think people understand if they're not into, you were counting your almonds and you were counting how many cups of water. Is it 1 cup at the end? Like the last week is like 1 cup a day?
Oh God, no, actually you like drink more to go into this dehydration process.
Right, so you over dehydrate. Yeah.
And I think it's like the night before you stop drinking. Yeah.
You bring your body to an extreme to create the exact shape and form. How do you take the strength that you needed on stage and before the stage to build your body? How do you take that strength and apply it in motherhood? And in its more delicate doesn't mean weak, right? Delicate is it still can be strong, but more delicate and more influential, like mother energy.
Yeah. You know, I think they say the mark of true power is to do it with grace. Whatever is done with grace is a mark of true power. So I think the invitation here is to be, I think, powerful mamas. Oh no, yeah, powerful mamas is like also the theme for this podcast. So you've been interviewing powerful moms,
Powerful women, powerful moms that are influencing this world or are helping.
Yes. So I think to be a powerful mom and to be a strong mom is how can I do this motherhood as graceful as I can be? Like, how do I get to, speak with grace and act with grace? Because sometimes it's really not graceful.
So what do you do when you lose it?
You know, I'm not a perfect mom, and you know, I would love to be. And this is, I think, where you guilt trip yourself. Then when you lose it, when you have this moment of being human, and this all comes down to nervous system regulation. I think the nervous system is the key. I've been telling so much of my friends before becoming a mom because I knew nothing about nervous system regulation in the past. Now I'm actually getting certification as a somatic coach for the female nervous system, which is so important because most of these nervous system studies out there are designed on male bodies, and we have 4 seasons in a month. So we're very different than men. We have and at different times of our month, we have different needs. And also we have pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding. Our hormones are shifting. So very important, the female nervous system to have this specific approach to design for us female. But yeah, because when we lose it, essentially when we lose our grace, it's because we're highly dysregulated. And then we're operating from fight, flight, freeze, appease, right? From dysregulation. So it's survival mode. And so I think the trick is to just recognize before you get, because it builds up, you know? It's like, and I use the analogy of a kettle and I use it with my son. I'm like, mommy's waters are boiling. Like the next level, it's going to do, you know,
right.
like, because he's 3.5. So, you know that age, they're just becoming more of their own person and they're testing the boundaries. And especially I've done the single motherhood for a while. So I feel like there's ideally a father that should be in the picture that has a different energy, that comes and bring balance in the household. And, you know, at first in the single motherhood, I was trying to be both. You know, you're trying to overcompensate for that lack that I feel like I was trying to fill a space that there's not that space. But no, it's actually doing more harm than good. I think that we just need to focus on being the mother and being the woman and being that more nurturing energy no matter what. Yet it is difficult because, my boundaries have been crossed many times and a part of me feels violated. You know, even though he's this little 3-year-old and I know because again, he's just doesn't have the discernment of an adult. But also I figured that when I lose it, it's often my inner child that takes over in these moments and completely, it's like, no, this is not working. And also it's so much work. Would you agree with me that in this day and age now, it's so much work to raise a child consciously because now we know the impact that we're having on this being from 0 to 7. They're sponges and you're creating the foundation of how they'll be for the rest of their life. Like their programming is now being installed, you know? It's like everything they see or they hear or whatever, they're just taking in as this is it.
Yeah, the belief. You're creating
the belief systems. Exactly.
What they can do or can't.
Yeah, so now we have that awareness. So, and we also have the awareness of like the traumas that have that, you know, now we're doing our healing and we're alchemizing and transmuting all these wounds and all these traumas, experiences into love and into greater experiences. But now it's like, okay, how can I not repeat what was done onto me and how can I repair? So I feel like a lot of moments, sometimes when we're unconscious, we're just repeating the way my mom was doing or the way my mom was handling, and I come from a single mom. So for me, I've done so much work to rewire the idea of having a man that's, and being worthy of a man that's going to take me with a child, that's going to show up for me and love me as I am fully and love my child as if it's his, and show up as that divine masculine, that sacred masculine, like container to ground us, to be our rock, because at the end of the day, the feminine, we are the ocean, and these men, they're the lighthouse.
Yeah,
they're there.
We're going that way.
Yeah, they're just more directional and they're more consistent. Like they're more like the sunshine. They're like sunrise, sunset, different flavors, but they wake up, they're fertile every day of the year. Like they wake up, they're ready.
Yeah, it's not more simple, but it feels more simple.
And yeah,
in terms of
we're completely different beings.
Exactly, and we need that. We need that.
Yes, that
and it's not a good or a
unity.
bad thing, because sometimes I feel you have this extreme men toxicity, but also this female toxicity, right? Whatever. You can say female toxicity responds from the male toxicity. Yes, yes. But in the end, there's that competition. But it's not a competition. I am good at what I do, and so my husband has known for since for years now, and he is. What he's good at is the things that I'm not that good, and it's great, and it's great. And sometimes it's annoying because he does it better, or he get upset because he's like, "I told you how many times." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." But in the end, it's to have this team, right? But
absolutely.
a lot of women do not have this opportunity. For a long time, you didn't have it, and it's difficult because we expect the mothers to do the same thing that single or not single with one child or 3 or 4, and they get burned out.
Absolutely.
They get tired. They feel the guilt. They get angry, and they fall out of grace. And then they feel, I lost everything that I know about myself. I don't like my body. I don't like my hair. I don't like the way I talk to my kids because I'm so impatient.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and
yes,
it's so difficult, and it's easy to turn towards the excuse is like, you don't have a partner, or you have a partner that is not doing what you expect them to do. But there's a responsibility that needs to be taken. There's so much you can control.
Yes.
And what can you control is where you try to bring more grace.
Exactly.
More awareness.
Yes. Yeah.
And would you say, because I think once you were telling me a bit the way you were doing that, because we fall out of grace, but then what? Right.
Then it's repair. It's all about repair.
Yeah.
Really, truly repair. And also one of my mantra during raising my child is I will not repeat, I will repair. So I'm not repeating, I'm repairing. And I'm using that because even sometimes in the moment, and I tell my child, then I have a conversation with him, a conscious conversation. And I say, mommy doesn't want to scream. I don't like that. But I have to sometimes. Like this gets to the point that I don't have another avenue, or I don't have another tool in my toolbox. But again, nervous system regulation.
Right.
That's great tools.
And in the moment you screamed because I reacted to what's going on. But I will rehearse that and find a way
So it's really
to proactively or to repair. And it's...
And really, I say to him all the time, like, I literally tell him, I'm learning, baby. I'm learning and I'm becoming better every day. And just like you, because also he remembers, let's say if he had like a crisis earlier in the day, like a tantrum for something. And at night when we go to sleep, he'll say, Mommy, I'm sorry today for my crisis. And then when I ask him like, but, was there a reason? Was it, no, but I'm sorry. I will do better. And then I tell him, so it's the same for me. Then I tell him, it's the same for Mommy. You're learning to be better every day, and I'm learning to be better every day. And it's a constant journey. We're always evolving. We're always learning. So I think, and again, to bring compassion to ourselves, to our children. But, whatever also you see on social media, like I often shared more in the past when I was sharing, let's say for his second birthday, I'm sharing like 2 years of the most beautiful highlights, and it looks like I have the perfect child and the perfect life and everything. And often in the caption, I will write, motherhood, the highest highs I've ever experienced in my life, the purest love and the most bliss and the most ecstasy and the most magic. And just like everything in life, it's the duality of this world. There's no right before left or up without down, like in, out. So hot, cold, night, day. So bliss and rock bottom. Like my child is also the one that has triggered the deepest things in me. Yeah. And you know, my pattern in relationships was self-abandonment. So I was like putting the partner, you know, above everything and the relationship above everything. So I was kind of abandoning like my mission, my devotion to myself, my devotion to my mission. And so what do you think also? I was a bit selfless with my child, which I believe is necessary. The first year, maybe when you're like, I was breastfeeding him on demand for 2 years. Yeah. So for 2 years, my body was on demand for his needs. So, you know, I didn't have like one night to myself, or I didn't have longer than 3 hours out of the home for, you know, anything I desired to do. And I think that was beautiful. That was an act of devotion for my child because I was investing in his future and also in our relationship. I was thinking, I'm doing the co-sleeping. I'm doing everything. Like I'm breaking all the patterns of I wasn't breastfed or I was put, you know, like most children though, to be slept by themselves and things like this. But yeah, so I did all these things, and which was very selfless, which was very devotional. But it was an investment into, I feel like, his future and our relationship. Our bond is so strong and so pure, I feel, because of that. And I feel like you're healing your own inner child as you go, right? So I feel like the way you raise your child, you're kind of giving your child what you needed, that safety you needed, that love you needed, that reassurance you needed maybe.
And it will look different for everybody.
Absolutely.
And it will look different for everybody. Absolutely. I have friends that they wanted a co-sleep and literally the kid didn't want.
Wow.
I have a friend, her 1.5, she was 1.5 and she said, she was like, no, mama. No, mama. She was getting hot and she was like, no, mama. And she wanted to be, and she wanted to be in her room. And she was so sad. She was like, oh, but I wanted to. I'm like, yeah, but it's not about it's about you guys. Yeah. But everybody, every mother's, you know better. Yeah. You know what for you and for your kid. And it might work with kid number 1, and it's not going to work with kid number 2.
Oh, I'm excited to experience kid number 2. I mean, not now,
right.
but
I understand. I have a 7 years gap between the two, and everything that I've been doing with my son and now with my daughter, half of it, first of all, either it's not working or it make it worse. When he was crying, being very upregulated, you know, in a tantrum, I would come very quietly, very close to him and just wait, and then he will just notice I'm here. And I will just put a hand on him and eventually take him, and we will just take big breaths together, and it will kind of suit. If I touch her, she explode. I can't touch her. I have to wait until she stop. And if I look at her, it's too much. No, she can't take any sensation. I cannot look at her. I cannot talk to her. I cannot breathe near her. She needs to do her tantrum by herself. And then the tornado's done. She stops and she's like, I'm done. And I'm like, wow, we're done? Yes. So they're very different. Yes. So her need and the way I'm bringing my motherhood, like the way I will mother her, is all love, but it's very different.
Yeah, and that's what I tell my son also. I'm like, you know, I'm learning to be a mom. Like nobody, and like I thought I knew my whole life, like I'm going to be such a great mom. And like motherhood, I say it every day. I'm like, motherhood is kicking my ass. Like it's difficult. It's a challenge. But also it's an adventure, you know? Yes. I used to think I want 4 kids because I want to like go bowling as a family and have an adventure. I'm like, my God, I have 1. I go grocery shopping and it's an adventure.
and you're done.
It's constantly the unknown, you know, every day. And then new things surprises you. And they pull new tricks out of their hats all the time. And I'm like, where did that come from? Okay. Then new chapters, new eras of as they evolve, but it's very fascinating.
Yes.
So it's a great experience. But I was also that mom that was telling everybody before being a mom, I thought that's the purpose of life. Like, what are you doing if you're not having children? Like, I really didn't understand people that were telling me I don't have the desire to be a mother. And I was trying to talk them otherwise. Now,
without having a kid.
Yeah, when I was not a mother.
Could you imagine? We need to stop doing that.
Yeah. No, since pregnancy, since birth, since breastfeeding, since postpartum, since now I have a 3.5, when I encounter people that say, I don't feel the desire to be a mother or to have children or whatever, I now completely understand. Because I also now realize this is not for everybody, actually. I don't think it's everybody that Yeah.
Nothing is for everybody.
Yeah. So
We all
exactly.
have preferences. We all have childhood. We have trauma. We all have partners or not. We're all having different purposes too, right? Purposes evolve, but by some people I met, they are so all in other things
Yeah.
that this is not a thought that suits them, and they're not better or less better. And you know, we need to stop guilting and shaming for having kids, not having kids, having too many kids. I got shamed because my kids were too far apart, right? So are you having another kid? Yeah, you know, sorry, it's not working, right? Like, I mean, we didn't choose to have 7 years apart. It just had
aligned.
miscarriages. It just didn't work. It just, my body, it was not meant to be.
Exactly.
And I got shamed. Oh, Logan's not having another like sibling. It's not fair for him. And now I get another kid. Oh, it's really far. Like, what do you do? So you get shamed no matter what you do.
Yes.
And I think it's hilarious. I don't take these things like I don't care, but we need to stop telling people what to do. The best thing I think we could do as women is to walk the talk. Right? If you meet somebody that has a different vision, they're not interested into having a kid, or the opposite. They're interested to have a big family and they don't want a career. You also get shamed from another group. I think we just need to be leaders in what works for us.
Absolutely.
Be the best mother you are. Show with as much love and with joy what is your experience, and other people look at your experience and make the decision for themselves. You have one job, and it's not to shame or convince anybody else. It's just do what works for you. You want to go sleep? Go sleep. You want to bottle feed? You want to breastfeed? Whatever. Just feed your child.
Yeah.
It doesn't, find your ways and support other women in what they're trying to do. And the influence will come from your talk and your walk, not from your words.
Exactly, from your embodiment. Absolutely.
Exactly. And that is so important. And I wish, that was a big wish for the universe, if we could just do that. Lifting women.
Yes.
Lifting each other's.
Healthy sisterhood.
Healthy sisterhood. It's not because you have more that have less. Absolutely not. And what I want is not necessarily what another woman's want. And it's not, we have different lives. So how can I tell you this is what you need to do? Yeah.
And I always say also, like, your desires were planted, like, you know, people have different desires. And I actually believe that, I heard that before, that, oh, your desires were planted in your heart by God. And it's because your soul knows that, let's say if I desire to drive an helicopter, it's because my soul has this ability to learn that, let's say. Or so if someone has a desire to have a big family and to just, you know, be at home, it's like, that desire was planted there for a reason, you know. So also trust your desires, but your womb and your heart, you know, these desires, not so much the ego or the wanting to prove people things, like this is not the right ones. Nothing is right or wrong, but, you know, the more you lead as a woman from your womb and your heart, you're golden.
Yes, you will stay more true to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And to your true self.
And you still can lead. And when we say that, it comes a bit with a fear, right? That woo-woo aspect. Like, you know, it's easy. You live on the beach, you live in Tulum, and you live with your heart. I live in the middle of the city, whatever it is, mid-country, and I don't have that. No. It's not as simple and as complicated as we think, right? It goes in both ways. It's really, what does make you vibrate? What brings you that I want to do this, and it brings me joy, but it brings me joy because it makes me feel that I realize more of myself. Right? You want to accomplish yourself, not just accomplish things, accomplish deadlines or just money, right? Who do you become when you're going towards that direction? And that is so important.
Absolutely. And, you know, to keep going on, because you asked me a question earlier, and I feel like I didn't complete it, where I just explained how there was this massive unbalance. Like the 2 first years of motherhood for me were completely selfless, which I think at some point you need to bring back balance and find yourself back. Because when you say how to balance motherhood and the rest, I personally actually realized so much in these 2 first years because I wanted to do it. My main priority was raising my son. And this is also in the first year of his birth. I think me and his dad separated like when he was like 1.5 or something. And I really realized challenging for single mothers. And also, I think I would have left his dad before, but I felt so vulnerable because my priority was to feed my son and to give my son what he needed. And no, I put a lot of my needs, I did like most mothers do, a lot of my needs in the back end burner, and then you end up undernourished and depleted. But maybe online it looked like I have all my things together. That's why, to be honest, sometimes I look at moms online, I'm like, how do they do it? I feel so dysfunctional. And I think there's a lot of this persona, there's a lot of this fake performance based online in the online world, that when you actually go, and to be honest, when I would go in one of my mom's friend's house and see her sink is full of dishes, I'd be like, oh, okay, it's not just me. Like just the pressure of almost like, having it all together. And to be honest, single mothers is like, you're doing the impossible. You're just doing the impossible. If, especially in my case, he was not sustaining financially. He wasn't, so left, let's say, he left Bali, he's not giving any money, he's not, so there was no presence physically, there's no provision, there's no protection. Truly, when you're left like this with your baby, your newborn baby, like, is very vulnerable. And I remember just thinking, it's happening to me for sure, so that I rewrite the script. Like, this cannot be, and there's more than ever now, like so many single households, so many dads in this world are not paying the financial support or whatever is, meant. And of course, like, not just to generalize, because I know there's also dads that are full on,
but you just talk about your personal experience.
My personal experience has been that. And I just know that in numbers, in statistics, because
you met other women, you're part of communities, and you gather together, and you're like, there's a lot of us.
And also, even I'm sure if you like Google statistics, like in single households and who generally is with the child and also left with no money and no help and nothing, and it's mothers naturally, and just more generally. And and you know what? My big realization was, okay, we women are the portals. Because I was like, how do we stop this epidemic of single mothers? And because also now we're raising these children.
Yeah, you're raising a man.
Not in balance, right? Not in a balanced household, not in a harmonious household, because you're doing the impossible. Even though you're trying to do everything right, there's going to be unbalanced things. It's just, please, if you have a mom who has it all figured out and who's single and who has no, I would love to see it, because and around me and, from all the mothers, I had mothers circles in my house. And so, but again, you attract what you are as well, right? At your frequency. So also at some point I had to do like an evaluation of like, okay, I need to stop my social interactions and really be aware of like what places I put myself in as well. Because at the same time, it's like, if you want to become wealthy, surround yourself with wealthy people, right? If you're overweight, you want to become fit, start surrounding yourself with fit people. Not just, let's say if your friends are just all overweight, then, it's better that you change your environment. So then I was like, okay, like I'm kind of like, I was labeling myself as like a struggling single mom. And I was like, I'm surrounding myself by all these struggling single moms. So it's not really getting me out of it. And, struggle is a big word. It was just very challenging. And to remain graceful, to remain conscious, and to remain faithful. Because I was really doing the manifestation of like, okay, what energy do I need to be in to attract such a man that's going to want to come in? And so, because you attract things vibrationally with your energy, and then you go out into the world, like we're electromagnetic beings. Now I'm going to drop some things about manifestation, but some woo-woo things that are science-based now. And so when you think something, you're sending the signal in this field of universal consciousness, these invisible webs, because we live in a multidimensional world. And the thing is, we, in the 3D world, in the city, people that don't talk about this woo things too much, essentially think that things are just happening like this is a physical level, things that we see, touch, smell, taste. But there's so much happening in the invisible realm. Actually, so much happens in this invisible realm, which is in the realms of your beliefs, your thoughts, your words that you're saying mentally. If you say hello 3 times in your head, you hear it, but nobody else hears it. So these words, they matter. No, but so all of this that happens in this invisible realm, it's electricity, and it's interacting with the field at all times. And your heart is the magnetic. So the feelings, how you're feeling. So I guess sharing this little background for you to understand like the being that you are, that you're so much more to just this physical body, that there's so much more, that you're constantly the way you think and the way you feel. And the more you can bring the way you think and the way you feel in coherence and harmony, you got this, and this is happening for you. And, you know, each challenges are making you stronger, making you more resilient, and it's happening for your greater good and for the greater good of all. So really always having these. Yes, exactly.
Because sometimes it's hard to see it in the moment. Like, I got cheated on, I lost my job. How is this happening for me? Like, it's kind of insulting to hear that.
In the moment.
But in the moment, but it's all a spectrum, right? It's just a moment in time, and we need to talk about that in 10 years. And what did it force you to become?
Exactly.
What did you have to stop doing so you could become somebody that overcome this challenge?
Yeah. It really is. Usually when you look back, years back, it's like that was such a catalyst for for change.
But I think it's important that, because I think you're right, and often I hear, but I don't know why this is happening. Or sometimes you get super lucky, you lose a job, and then 3 months later, somebody is like, "Oh, you because you talk about it that you lost your job, and then you find the best job that you ever dreamed about." Okay, for example. So it's easy to let go of that energy that is the stress and the more negative when you see why it happened. But I feel that we also need to move with grace to kind of surrender. You cannot just be happy and surrender to this kind of state only because you know it will pay off. Because otherwise you stay in there, right? You have to, okay, I don't know why this is happening, but this is what it is, and I need to figure it out and move into that. And there's, during this podcast, we're focusing mainly on pregnancy, you know, that transition towards motherhood and early motherhood, and then you have these mothers, right? So it's all the concept of motherhood from the moment you discover that you're pregnant, right? Yeah. And what would you say that you wish you know, so quick, like super fast, what do you wish you knew in the early stage of pregnancy about yourself, about anything? What was the thing that you wish you could go back and tell yourself, or the first thing you're going to say to your sister or the next of your friend that is pregnant early on? Was the first thing?
Definitely invest time and energy into educating yourself around natural birth. I believe every woman should birth naturally unless truly there is something.
Make a choice.
I recommend The Business of Being Born. Is a documentary on Gaia.com, The Business of Being Born. I recommend everybody to watch this. Because it's just becoming more now like C-sections on demand, you know, and it's like women just take for granted, like, oh, they get pregnant, and then they just take for granted that the medical system knows how to handle that. But actually, most doctors that deliver births in the hospital never saw a natural birth. So no, this is a natural process.
I believe, mean vaginal birth when you say that?
Natural birth, like they haven't been in.
Yeah, but vaginal, because right,
vaginal birth. You meant like no, they know how to handle medical procedure. They know how to
but they don't know how to take a woman who has no epidural, no intervention, and wants to do just vaginal birth. They just don't know.
At the end of the day, it's inconvenient. Listen, if my natural labor process is going to take 3 days, you really think a hospital wants to hold space for 3 days and the staff and everything? No way. We don't take the time to educate ourselves around what happens like during pregnancy. Like I didn't even know I was going to birth my child, and I had to birth a placenta, you know, like I just took a lot of time and energy.
Do you wish that they were more educated?
More education
about their body, what could happen, what can you do, ask questions.
And this natural process also, like just even to be told by a doctor when you're supposed to give birth and things like this. Like, do you think a lioness in the wild is being told like, no, you haven't given birth now, it's time to cut you open because it's too late? Like, no, like it's a natural process. Like, I really feel that there's too much of the medical system interrupting the natural flow. And also, we're becoming less and less nature. Would you agree with AI and everything that's going on in the world?
Right. Wish AI could birth baby. It will tell you exactly what to do.
I think the best revolution would be to go back to nature. Nature knows harmony, true harmony. If the human beings get off of a city, and the city is going to get back to harmony, nature knows how to restore balance. Yeah. Nature knows how to restore itself, and our bodies are nature. It knows how to do everything. So it's actually, we have to get out of it. We have to get out of the way with all of our technologies and all of our supplements and all of our like altered things, you know, or all of our medical procedures and everything.
But you've been there, right? You did the whole thing, right? You went from extremely controlled to a little bit more letting the body happen the one way.
Yeah. And we're just so much more powerful women. Like,
yes.
So own that power. Yes.
But thank you so much. It was awesome, and it's always amazing to hear the journey and how you went from, you know, how you everything you have done made you and help you to become the person that you are today. There's no regret. There's only going forward.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome. So thank you so much for your time.
It was such a
great.
pleasure.
Yay.
Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you.